Hi, good evening. I'm Dr. Philip McMillan, and I am just here to raise the profile and promote our upcoming conference on the 26th and 27th of August, Saturday and Sunday, over 2 days. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to give you a little summary as to why I think this is important. Then I'm going to play a few more of the promotional videos from some of the speakers. Then I'm going to share with you some ideas about why I'm concerned about Omicron and the continued variants. And finally, I will share the major promotion for the conference. So, what I'll say quite quickly is that in reality, my biggest concern at present is that we have a problem with history. History tells us that in 1918, when they had the flu pandemic, the first wave killed about approximately 2 million people. And the first wave was hampered in terms of the response because there was an issue about the politics around what was happening. There was a war going on, and no one wanted to demonstrate that they could be weak because of a flu epidemic. So it was kept very quiet. The problem was that when the second wave came, it killed 50 million. The lesson that I have today is that I think that the first 3 years that have passed have been like the first wave, or maybe we could break it into two waves. The first wave with the other variants, the second wave with the Omicron, and I think that there is a third wave coming. And I'll explain to you from a scientific point of view why I'm concerned. But first, let's hear from a couple more of our speakers.
My name is Charles Rixey. I'm a former W&D professional in the United States Marine Corps and a current member of DRASTIC, investigating the origins of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. My talk will focus on my work in 1. Quantifying the depth and breadth of scientific censorship around the origin of the virus and appropriate medical responses to it. 2. Looking at the virus and the public health response to it through the prism of gain-of-function research. 3. Highlighting specific evidence within epitopes of the viral genome that were specifically censored, which likely relate to long COVID past sequelae. And 4, highlighting relevant new advances in epigenetics. I look forward to what will be a very important and very timely conference.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robin Rose, CEO and founder of the Terrain Health Medical and Wellness Center. For the past 2.5 years, we have been deeply committed to the care of patients with long hauler COVID, including those who are vaccine injured. We have spent countless hours collaborating with our research partners around the globe to develop novel common denominator protocols and personalized interventions for the treatment of long hauler COVID, always evolving in how we diagnose and treat as we learn more every day. The most recent addition to our armamentarium of protocols is the spike detox. We believe that this is a major game changer in how we approach the treatment of long hauler COVID and vaccine injured patients. Because we know access to care is limited, as well as finances for many patients that have bear the burden of this terrible disease, we have created the Buyers Club RX, a platform featuring diagnostic testing, state-of-the-art protocols, and consultation services that are all significantly discounted. It is our mission to reach the masses and test and treat as many of you as possible in a more economical fashion. At our conference, I will be focusing on the clinical applications of our protocols and outcomes, as well as diagnostic testing. Looking forward to seeing everyone at the conference the weekend of August 26th.
Yep, so there we have it. That's two more of our speakers, and you can see in total we have about 12 speakers involved. So this is important stuff. And what I'm going to highlight before playing the second bit, which is the other promotional video, is I just want to highlight my own personal concern from a scientific point of view. So what we have at the moment is ongoing circulation of Omicron. And Omicron seems to have less of a risk for severe COVID-19. And that's a very important feature, and it's just purely down to the characteristics of the virus. And so I'm going to show you here a quick slide. This was taken from the paper that I have got in the link in the description. But what this is showing you here is that we have two ways of entry of the virus. So this here in blue is the virus. This here in blue is the virus. This is technically the entry mechanism split in two. This was the original entry mechanism for all of the earlier variants before Omicron. It was very efficient. It would bind to ACE2, and it would also bind to another protein or enzyme here called TMPRSS. This would then help it to be able to release the RNA from the virus very quickly inside the cell and then cause replication of the virus. So this was a very efficient mechanism for the virus to get into the cell. What we saw in December of 2021 was a transition into Omicron, where instead of using this mechanism to get inside the cell, in this route, the endosomal entry, the virus again in blue binds here to ACE2 in red. And instead of releasing the RNA immediately, as we have here, it then gets pulled into what we call an endosome. That's like a little capsule, a package inside the cell. Then once inside this endosome, the endosome then creates an acidic environment, and then it releases the RNA. So this is a slower process than this one. Yet, in the context of what we have happening now, this slower process has taken over as being the most efficient mechanism for the virus. And that's where we are at the moment with regards to Omicron. Here's my concern. That protein that we call TMPRSS is located in the upper airways and down deep into the lungs. And so when you look at what happened between Delta and Omicron, you can see here that the Delta virus went all the way down into the lungs here, these red pinkish areas, compared to Omicron, which tends to be in the bronchioles and more centrally in the lungs. And so therefore it doesn't have as much of an effect on the lower parts and the broad aspect of the lungs. My worry is that we're going to see a situation where we see a blending of the ability, where we will see the speed of the original variants combined with the efficiency of Omicron. And what that would mean is that we would then have a combination where we would have central and peripheral going all the way down into the lung of lung inflammation. And that would be characterized by an increase in the amount of severe lung disease that we would see. That has largely gone away, combination of vaccination and Omicron. And what would be very frightening is if this came back. Now, the purpose of this is not to frighten people, but to make sure that you are up to date and aware of the science. The science doesn't lie in the sense that if you follow what is happening and you are prepared for what is happening, you are in the best position to understand the dynamics of the pandemic. The principle is when you do a SWOT analysis, that means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. What we're looking at here are the threats. Now, you hope that they don't happen, but you have to be prepared in case they do. So I encourage you, please click on the links. There are a number of them, including the Eventbrite link, which allows you to get an email reminder and should allow you to get, even if you've missed the conference, to be able to watch it again. So I'd certainly encourage you to use Eventbrite. Have a great evening. Look at the promotion and please consider joining us on Saturday and on Sunday. Have a great evening.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Shankara Chetty. I'm a general practitioner and natural science biologist from sunny South Africa. I've been personally seeing COVID illness, long COVID, and vaccine injuries over the past 2 to 3 years. And I'm interested in looking at all the collaboration that's occurred around the world and making it applicable to the patient in front of me. I hope to see you at our conference in October.
My name is Stephanie Seneff. I'm a senior research scientist at MIT, and I'm delighted to have an opportunity to speak to you about the spike protein, the mRNA vaccines, long COVID. My research is focused on trying to understand the mechanisms by which we're getting such a toxic response to this virus and to the vaccine. And I'm specifically interested in the exosomes, the role of exosomes in transporting the mRNA around the body, and also the role of the thymus gland is a new interest of mine. I hope to have some time to speak about that, and how the virus and the vaccine are causing disruption of the thymus gland, leading to accelerated inflammaging and increased aging, basically causing effect of increasing your biological age. We look forward to seeing you at the conference. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Rachel Jessey. I am a naturopath and nutritionist, and I've been working closely with long COVID patients from across the world for just over 3 years now. My presentation is going to focus on supporting the oral, nasal and gut microbiomes as a strategy to reduce spike replication in those key areas. I look forward to seeing you at the conference.
Dear colleagues, my name is Hans Rausch, biologist, chemist and pharmacologist. I've done research on secondary substances, their analytics as well as their enzymatics on the university for a long time. And then in 1994, I opened my own testing and development laboratory called Phytochem in Germany. I'm running this as CEO now already 29 years. In addition to European or Western phytomedicine, we also work mainly in the field of traditional Asian herbal medicine. At the moment, I'm working with my team on product development and optimization together with Joachim, Gerlach and Dr. Beate Jaeger for nature-based intervention of COVID damages in humans. I am also happy to contribute my expertise to this circle of scientists and therapists. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Dr. Kevin McCairn. I'm a systems neuroscientist. I've been involved in investigations into SARS for 3+ years now, particularly its laboratory origin, its overlap with biowarfare and medical countermeasure industries, and I have a scientific interest in one of the key mechanisms of the disease, which doesn't get talked about very often, which is amyloidosis, prions, and their impact in long COVID and neurodegeneration. I look forward to seeing you in August.
My name is Dr. Beate Jaeger from Germany. I'm a chief doctor in internal medicine and laboratory medicine. I am working with blood apheresis systems like the HELP system. I proposed this treatment as a possible solution to help long COVID patients and acute COVID patients and post-vac patients. Moreover, we treat patients with anti-clotting substances. Our research focuses on clinical studies, and we do fluorescent microscopy as well as other collaborations to improve our understanding of the disease, and I feel pleased and honored to join this distinguished community, and I'm looking forward to see you at the conference tomorrow. All the best.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tina Peers. I work in the UK. I've been working with long COVID patients since November 2020 and have seen hundreds of patients with a particular emphasis on the association between long COVID and mast cell activation syndrome. I really hope that you can join us at our conference in August.
Welcome. My name is Joachim Gerlach, and I'm a German COVID-19 researcher and head of research at Medicinals Biotech India. I will be speaking about long COVID and vaccine injuries, especially in the context of persistent spike and the resulting disease expressions in neuro-COVID, immunodeficiency, and clotting disorders, cardiovascular disease, and immunodeficiency, which we all have published on and well researched, because everybody in this conference I deem to be a groundbreaking researcher and have contributed massively to advance the field, into advanced research and medical research in the field of COVID and long COVID conditions. I'm looking forward to see you at the conference.
Hi, my name is Christie Grace. For the last few years, I've been a consultant and project and process manager designing projects for researchers all over the globe, both startups and top researchers, working with lipid nanoparticle and RNA to make things such as recombinant proteins, which include but not limited to monoclonal antibodies, fusion proteins, CRISPR-Cas9. I have also worked in the IVT space, plasmids, baculovirus, and with E. coli. I'll be presenting on issues, of course, with the RNA injections, lipid nanoparticle, RNA, and then looking at the recent contamination concerns that McCairn and others have now recently verified with the plasmids, what that means to the human body, looking at a myriad of things such as what happened in cold chain, what happens with the zeta potential, positive, negative charges, what we're looking at with flocculation, Ostwald effect, ion bridging, and then what plasmids can exactly bind to in the human body and the SV40 promoter. Thanks so much for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you all at the end of August for the conference. Thanks again.
Hi, my name is Mannan Baig. I'm a member of the Doctor Federation of the World. My specialty is neuro-COVID and associated illnesses that affect the central nervous system. I'm a scientist from Pakistan. In September 2023, that is 3 weeks from now, I'm going to join the St. George's Hospital in Berlin, Germany, where I would work with Dr. Beate and positioned as a senior scientist in the field of neurological research. The review conference series of 2023, I will be talking on the neurological effects of COVID and neuro-COVID in particular in long COVID patients. Also, we talk about the mechanisms involved in spike protein role in the causation of microclots that are abnormal thrombi. Thank you very much. I look forward for your active participation and a greater audience in this event. Thank you very much.